Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to this week in my life vlog. Over the next couple of days, I thought that I would just bring you guys along with me for some fun, kind of like random stuff that we have going on. Today, in a few minutes actually, I'm about to head out with a friend to do a little like day road trip. This weekend, I'm also going to start the process of planning my third baby's first birthday party, which is just nuts. I can't even believe that we are already here, but I do need to start wrapping my head around all of that. So I'm going to do that with you guys this weekend. And then I also have an appointment with my naturopath on Monday after experiencing weird health things that I thought that I would also bring you guys along for. So that's kind of what's going on right now. My friend Brittany, you guys probably, if you've been watching my YouTube channel for a while, know her. She is like one of my best friends in the world, and it is so exciting, but also a little bit devastating because she's going to be moving across the country for a few months. It has snuck up on us so fast, and we were talking about like what we wanted to do to kind of celebrate and do one last like fun thing together before she leaves. And one of the things that we love to do together, obviously, is just like shop. We're going to be window shopping probably for a lot of the day, but I'm sure there will be some fun things that I'll pick up as well. It's just Rosie that I'm going to be bringing with me on this little day trip, and I have a bunch of stuff over here to pack, like the mega diaper bag for a day out of the house. We're leaving in a couple minutes, so I don't have a ton of time to have like a big formal breakfast, so I just made myself a little smoothie that I'm going to have on the drive. I am such a huge fan of smoothies, not even just because they taste good, but also just because they are the perfect way to sneak in all of the supplements and things that you want to take in the day to kind of like supercharge your breakfast. This morning I added in my collagen protein from Needed, and when I find a brand that is made by moms for moms and I love it, I'm so excited to tell you guys about it because I feel like they just get it. I first heard about Needed when a friend of mine started taking them for her postpartum recovery, and then I also have a friend that is recently pregnant, brand new, and is taking some of their prenatal supplements. And Needed was created because there are so many gaps when it comes to women's nutrition and women's health overall, just because of a lack of research. Something that honestly didn't surprise me is that 95% of women are deficient in at least one key nutrient. So the founders of Needed kind of looked at women's health in general, but specifically and especially the areas around fertility and conception and pregnancy and postpartum, because those are very nutritionally demanding at times, and the nutrition and health of a mom can not only impact her health and recovery post and pre and during pregnancy, but also the health of her baby. And so this is an area that Needed really wants to support mothers in, and their products and nutrition systems are recommended by over 6,000 women's health experts, from midwives to OBGYNs to nutritionists and more. So recently I just started taking their collagen protein. Something that I did not know is that the natural production of collagen in our bodies starts to slow down as early as your early 20s. There are so many things that collagen is beneficial for, including tissue health and repair, gut health. It does also support amino acid needs in pregnancy as well. A couple of the reasons that I wanted to try the collagen protein were for pelvic health specifically. I feel like there's just so much more work that I could be doing in that area to recover from the 3 babies that I just had, but also to prepare to be pregnant again in the future. And another thing that I'm really excited for is the benefit for my nails. My nails are so brittle and have been so brittle throughout my entire third postpartum journey. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is able to do for that as well. Needed's collagen is a single ingredient formula. It is grass-fed, and it is also hydrolyzed to optimize absorption. All you need is 1 scoop, and it dissolves really easily into hot or cold drinks. So I like to add it to my smoothies, but you could even add it into your morning coffee to make getting it in super easy. So if you are a woman, Needed is for you. But if you are especially in the stages of maybe planning for pregnancy, currently pregnant, or postpartum, Needed definitely has something that I think could really support you. Right now, Needed is offering viewers of my channel 20% off of your entire order. If you want to check them out, all you have to do is head down to the link in my bio and use the code BethGrace to save. Thank you so much to Needed for working with me on today's video. All right, it's time to load this diaper bag. We've got all the baby snacks, diapers and wipes, a backup outfit, some some fresh fruit and Cheerios as another quick snack option. I've got my little travel formula container, which I love. I got this when we were flying to Florida and it works so well. It takes the mess out of traveling with formula. Just makes the entire process way less stressful. I've got a bottle with water ready to go for that, and then also her water bottle, a soother, her puppy for naps, and then of course my maybe baby carrier. I think that's enough. Okay, so we just finished up in Target. Pleasantly surprised because we happened to land there on the week of their, like, what was it called? Circle week? Red Circle week. So everything that I purchased for the most part ended up being 30% off. We did end up getting some pretty good deals, so I'll have to show you guys everything at some point, but we're just pulling up to Panera now for lunch. And then after this, we're going to go to Home Goods and Hobby Lobby, I think, before heading back. Is this too over the top for Rosie's birthday party? What is your guess for how much this costs?
$45.
45? I'm gonna say 59. Okay, how do I do this with one hand? $39.99.
Closest.
Honestly, not bad. That means you have to buy it. Last stop. Hobby Lobby stepping up their art game. Okay, so it is now the next day. It is currently a Thursday, but it almost kind of feels like a long weekend, and like the weekend has already started for us because my husband took the day off today. So Jared is out right now in the backyard with the kids, and I have a second in here while it's quiet and Rosie is napping to show you what we picked up on the theme for Rosie's first birthday, because I picked up like a bunch of stuff to go with the theme yesterday. Originally, the theme that I was thinking and had in mind was kind of a funny thing based on a nickname that I have for her, because her name is Rosalie. We call her Rosie. We have been just using so many different variations of the nickname Ro since she has been born. One of the one that comes up often is rodeo. So I had told my husband that I thought it would be so cute to do like a Rose first rodeo birthday party, and I really do think that idea would be adorable. But the timing of everything this year, I discovered that Easter is like so late on the calendar, and her birthday party is going to fall basically on the same weekend that is the only date for us to actually like host all of our Easter celebrations at our house. So because her birthday is also going to be like Easter dinner with our whole family, I decided to lean away from the rodeo vibe, although it's kind of a bummer because you can never have like a first rodeo party again. It's all right. I have decided to just lean into the Easter element a little bit more, and I'm going to do a Peter Rabbit theme, which I think is still going to be super cute. So honestly, most of what I grabbed yesterday was just like cute things to kind of go with that theme. So from Home Goods, I grabbed this adorable cupcake kit from the brand Mary Mary, and it's perfect. Like, could not be more perfect for this because it has all of the little Peter Rabbit characters that you can kind of just like stick into the cupcake cups. So I thought that was really cute. And then I also grabbed what I like envisioned and then immediately found, which was perfect, these little fabric carrots that I thought were so cute. And I'm envisioning that I'm gonna kind of use these as like a bunting. So I'm gonna take some twine, pretty much just like this, and figure out a way to like run it through, and then either hang it up on the wall or hang that across her high chair that she'll be sitting in front of for her cake smash. So I thought those were super cute. That was also at Home Goods. And then the last thing I got from Home Goods was this little set of napkins that has also got like a little bunny like pattern on it. I liked that this one was not so over the top Peter Rabbit themed. It's just kind of like Easter themed bunnies. So I thought that that would look really cute with the rest of the decor. I still am gonna have to map out in the next couple days everything else that I want to do in terms of the decor. We'll probably sit down at some point and do that together. I need to think through what I want the cake to look like exactly, what I want to do in terms of like tablecloth, table setting, all of that. So we will figure that out together. That is TBD, but that's everything I got from Home Goods. And then what I picked up from Hobby Lobby was this super cute little bunny bowl. There was something similar to this at Target that I almost got, but it felt like it wasn't obvious enough. It had like a tiny little bunny. This one I love because this is like so over the top Easter and just obvious obviously Easter decoration, but also really nice for a Peter Rabbit party. So I think I might do like mini eggs or something like that on the table. And then along the birthday party theme, the other things that I grabbed were just from Target. So I got this from the brand Favorite Day, little bunnies and carrots icing decorations. So the nice thing is that these are edible. And I'm thinking for her cake, like some sort of white, dairy-free, probably buttercream cake, if there's a way that we can achieve that. But I was thinking kind of like a bunting almost looking, I don't even know how to describe it, icing pattern around the outside, and then having like these little sections where these will be attached to it. This is not making sense the way that I'm communicating it. I'll try and put photos here of what I'm envisioning. I know exactly in my head what I want it to look like, but we're gonna have to see if we can actually make that come to life. The other thing that I got at Target was a bunch of just like plastic eggs for Easter egg hunt. I have a couple of eggs left over from last year that were this similar like color scheme to this. I love these ones because they're not ugly. And I know that that sounds silly, but they're just cute Easter eggs. The colors are a little bit nicer. They're not quite as like bright and harsh and in your face. These just look Easter to me. So I got 2 bags of these because we will have, how many kids here? Plus one more potentially. I think that there will be 9 kids in total that will be here for that Easter dinner / birthday party. So I am going to do an Easter egg hunt outside for them. And then I also, from the brand Favorite Day at Target, got this little spring sprinkle mix. So I thought that would be fun if we did like icing cookie decorations and the kids could kind of use that to decorate their cookies. So in terms of birthday party, that's everything that I have right now. We are going Peter Rabbit themed, birthday meets Easter, and that's gonna be the vibe. Oh wait, I missed something. I have one little thing. Oh, this is one of my favorite things. This was actually at the dollar section in Target. They had these adorable little ceramic ducks. I just thought these little ducks were so cute. I loved the little pink bow on it and this one with the little blue bow. I think that this is just gonna look really cute on the table for Easter. So that is actually everything that I purchased for her birthday party so far. That stuff was honestly pretty cheap just because the sale that was happening at Target was so much more significant than I was expecting. We got 30% off on most of the things that we grabbed while we were there. And then at Hobby Lobby, everything was like just so cheap. It was like 40% off of all of their spring or Easter related stuff. And the stuff to begin with is already like $12 a piece. So other things that I got were this cute frame from Hobby Lobby. This frame, $12 because all of the wall decor was 50% off. I plan on hanging this up in our middle room, which will eventually become Jude's like little boy room when he turns 3. And then the final things that I got were just some of the clothing pieces that I tried on while I was in Target that you guys saw. I decided to grab this little top because I thought it was so cute for spring and summer. I also grabbed this dress from the brand A New Day. I really like their stuff. I liked the buttons down the front. And then the last thing was that gingham set. I wasn't 100% sure on it just because the top came in a medium. It looks a little bit big on me. I feel like a small might have been a little bit better, but it was also 30% off the top and the bottom. And as just like an easy go-to summer set, I feel like this is gonna be perfect. I did actually also try this on while we were in Florida and I've been thinking about it ever since. So when I saw that it was on sale, I was like, this is my moment to grab it. But we do have some people from church coming over for dinner in a little less than 2 hours now. So dinner is already in the oven, but I'm gonna go get started on making some scones for dessert. Hello you guys, I am currently freezing cold. It is a Sunday night and there has been an ice storm that has been circulating basically the region that we live, and it is so freaking cold. It is really throwing off the spring vibes that I am going for, but I am currently bundled up. All of the kids are asleep. Jared is at the evening service for church. This weekend was very low key. I feel like the last few weeks have just been so busy for us, so to have just a slow weekend has been so nice. As you can see, we've got some new artwork hanging up that is really like the bulk of what we did this weekend. We really just didn't do much of anything other than some stuff around the house and then go to church today. But I thought we could do a cozy little chat about things that the Holy Spirit has been speaking to me lately. I feel like every time I have shared anything about what God has been currently teaching me in my life or what I'm learning and walking through, that it has been very well received from you guys, and you've asked me to share more of it. And honestly, whenever I feel just like a prompting to share about something that God is teaching me, almost always I am also met with just an overflow of messages from people being like, I so needed to hear that, thank you for sharing that. And so I think that that's not a coincidence. So all of this started because a little over a week ago I started reading the book The Anxious Generation, and honestly I feel like this actually started a couple of weeks even before I started reading this, but this book has been really eye-opening in the sense that I think all parents should read it. First of all, it's not like a Christian book, but it does talk a lot about the way that childhood just looks completely different now, in the sense that so many kids are just being like inundated with technology all day long, devices from all kinds, whether that is television, screens like phones, tablets, kids just having access basically to content and media and social media from such young ages, and basically what that is doing to their brains over time. And the book talks a lot about how that is making kids so anxious as they grow up, depressed as they grow up, always fighting for the next dopamine hit. And so basically it's talking about this fact and this idea that parents are really overprotecting their kids in the real world and underprotecting them when it comes to the online world, the virtual world, all of which are great thoughts. But the book, it does also talk about the fact that people that were born after 1995, so that would include me because I'm 96, those are the people that are considered Gen Z. I have kind of gone back and forth my whole life not knowing whether I'm a millennial or Gen Z. According to this book, I am Gen Z. I'm kind of one of those people that is on the cusp. But it's just talking about the fact that Gen Z was like the first generation to grow up in a world where in the like really core moments of brain development in like the preteen years and things like that, we had access to internet. And this would have been kind of a varied experience, I think, for most people at that time, at least, because from 1995 to 2000, it wasn't so like readily available yet. Like we didn't have iPhones, smartphones, that whole world of things. Like I grew up with internet in my house and computers and things like that, but it wasn't until a little bit later into my childhood, obviously, and I would say more so like teenage years, that I had access to something like a smartphone. All that to say, we were the first generation to grow up with the wild west of like social media and access to this, and like, what does this look like? Everybody's just excited about it. Are there any downsides to it? Let's just spend our time kind of figuring this out. But I think that there was a little bit more of a balance of like, I also had a childhood that didn't have any of that stuff, and so you kind of enter it with a little bit more, I don't know, I guess caution might be the word. Whereas now there's a lot of kids that are growing up and it's just like we have thrown caution to the wild and we were just letting them have at it. All of that to say, I think that Generation Z grew up with so much access to this, and we didn't really ever ask questions about whether or not it was okay or if it was good. We just kind of went for it. I think now there is this like awakening that's happening, almost like a reckoning, where we're like, this doesn't seem like it's awesome, and it seems like it's impacting kids that are kind of growing up into it. We're watching the case study of their lives and we're trying to course correct a little bit. The thing that is so interesting to me though is that we are so willing to course correct and so willing to fight for something different for our kids, but we are not willing to do that same thing for ourselves. We are setting so many limits for our kids. We're all stressed out about screen time and making sure there's not a lot of it, or committing to never being a tablet family, or giving the tablet and feeling guilty about it. And so we're setting time limits and arguing with our kids, and we're hyper aware of what it looks like for kids to grow up with screen usage and what that will mean for them. But when it comes to ourselves, we are so slow to set limits. We are so slow to actually think critically about the amount of time that we're spending consuming content and on social media. And it's almost like it's because we already grew up with this. We're already so steeped in it that we think that there's still time for our kids, but there's no time for us to figure this out. And I think that one of the things that I realized while reading this book is something that I have already known, but it's just become more obvious to me. And it's that we are not treating our connection to, I think, our phones specifically as the addiction that it actually is. Let me just define addiction for you. One of the definitions is a compulsive, chronic, physiological, or psychological need for a habit-forming substance, behavior, or activity that has harmful physical, psychological, or social effects and typically causes symptoms like anxiety, irritability upon withdrawal. Another definition is a strong inclination to do, use, or indulge in something repeatedly. Hello? Like, I feel like that perfectly describes what so many of us experience when it comes to our phones every day. I will be the first to say that, like, I am addicted to my phone. I spend hours every single day not holding it, but like in that time, am I thinking about it? Yeah, I'm thinking about, like, has anyone texted me? Like, I wonder what's going on. Like, as soon as I get a second to pause from my kids and go and check my phone to make sure that everything is good, or see like what has come through in terms of messages or DMs on social media, whatever else, like I'll go and I'll check that. And I feel like we all just kind of need a reality check, because as much as a lot of us, I'm sure, would love to say like, no, I'm not actually addicted to it. If you were to put your phone away and just like go cold turkey, your hand would be reaching for something. Like, your brain would be looking for the next dopamine hit, whether that is a like or a share or a follow. And I think part of the problem is like that used to be all that it was, but it's not that just that anymore. It's the fact that we can scroll mindlessly through things like Reels and Shorts and TikTok and just get dopamine hit after dopamine hit after dopamine hit. And that is rewiring our brains. It has become such an addiction for so many people. I think like one of the freakiest things to me about it is the fact that once you realize like your own addiction to your phone and actually take a step back from it, and you're like, okay, we need to re-examine this, and the blinders come off a little bit, that all of a sudden your eyes are just opened to the fact that most people around you are living and operating in this addiction too, and it's actually scary to watch it from like a bird's eye view. Like, it's that same thing every single time I see it on a meme where it's like, you put your phone down before your husband does, and all of a sudden you're like, put your phone down and spend time with me. It's like you were just in that a second ago. When you do that and just like observe the world around us and the way that everyone is just so consumed with these dumb little devices, all of a sudden you're just like, there is a real problem that we are fighting with here, and the biggest problem of all is the fact that we are not acknowledging it. So I feel like I've just been getting a reality check while reading this and realizing like, yeah, I can set limits around this stuff for my kids. I can delay their ability to have access to a phone, have access to social media, and have great conversations with them over time. But the best thing that I can do for my kids is actually model what a healthy relationship with technology looks like. And to do that, I have some work to do. So connecting this back to what God has been teaching me, one of the things that I felt just going into church today is like driving to church, we're listening to worship music in the car, and I'm trying to like reorient my heart to going into it, because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I will have a week that just feels full and it feels like there was a lot going on and I didn't do like my best in terms of prioritizing spending time with Jesus, whether that is through prayer and through quiet time. And I know that it's not all about what I can bring to the table. And so as I'm praying in the car this morning, I'm just like repenting and saying, God, I'm sorry that I filled my time this week with things other than you, and I just chose differently with my time. Like, I'm feeling the weight of that today, and I'm coming into church like feeling a little bit distant, and I'm talking to God about this. And of course, in his loving kindness towards us, he doesn't heap on condemnation. He doesn't heap on shame for us around those things. There's actually a lot of grace and mercy in that. But in that, I don't want to continue doing that. I want to actually turn to him, and that's kind of the whole point. But I realized like throughout the week, like every time that I chose to, in moments of boredom or in moments of wanting to just relax and find peace, or in moments of feeling stressed and wanting something to just forget about it, that I a lot of the time this week just turned to my phone for whatever reason. Like sometimes I'm doing stuff on my phone that's actually just practical and important for our family, like getting back to emails. I am ordering groceries. I am planning out birthday parties or thinking through different things for the kids. Some of the time, and a lot of the time, I'm just scrolling on social media for no reason. But every single time I think we choose to go to that instead of choosing to go to God, it's like hardening our hearts a little bit towards him. It's making us spiritually insensitive to what he wants to speak to us or what he's doing, because we're just filling the void constantly with this. And what was really cool and just beautiful about it all is, as I'm in the car and I'm repenting about this, I'm just reflecting on like, I don't want to have a hard heart towards you, God. Like just soften my heart towards you. In worship this morning, we're worshiping and we're singing, and I just like felt so overcome by the Holy Spirit with just like the tenderness of God towards us. It felt like he was actually just like melting the hardness away that I had built up this week. And it was just one of those beautiful reminders of like, he is so faithful, he is so kind, he is so merciful. But again, I don't want to continue operating in that. We see in scripture when Jesus was speaking to a woman that was caught in the act of adultery, that he says to her, go and sin no more. And again, it's that same concept of like, I've got so much mercy for you, but I also don't want you to continue living like this. And so it was just this kind of like melting of like, okay, I've built up all of this just like hardness of choosing this other than you all week, and here's the mercy for that, here's the grace for that, but how can we do better going into this next week? And I'm not sharing all of this to be like, I figured it out, like I have the antidote for all of the brokenness that we're all experiencing in this area, but it's just like me bringing you guys into the way that I'm thinking about it and the way that he's having me think about it right now. There is a problem, and we all want our kids to like know and do better, but that starts with us. And so what does it look like to figure that out? That's something I'm going to be praying a lot about, especially going into this next week, talking to my husband about how do we want to address this in our home. There's stuff that we put into practice at the beginning of this year that we honestly have just not been like super diligent at keeping up, like having a no phone rule from like 5 to 8 p.m. every single night, so we're just connecting with our kids and not looking at them. The phones in bed rule has honestly been so great, but I know that there are other things that exist to kind of make this more manageable and to find a way to still engage with the fact that this is what our world looks like now, without falling constantly into filling our minds with junk and just being okay with the fact that this is it, and be like, no, it's part of my job, and also it's important for me as a follower of Jesus to take time away from it every single month so that I can reset and rewire my brain to not like actually function and need this so desperately. And so that's what I'm praying through. That's what Jesus is teaching me right now, is that we have got to get better at this. Like it is really just robbing us of so much, not just the relationships that we have with our spouses, with our kids, and actually seeing them every single time that we look at them. Like how often is your brain just like thinking about something different? The way that this book described it is being forever elsewhere, and that honestly just makes me so sad. The world that we live in now, and part of me wishes that we could just go back and not have to live the way that we're currently living, but we're in it now. So how do we do this in a healthy way? I'm going to percolate on this a little bit more. I'm going to think about it and how maybe there could even be a challenge that we all do together to just get better in this area. But know that I'm praying for you guys in it. I would love to hear if there's anything specific that you do in your family to kind of combat this stuff, because I'm sure everyone in the comments would also benefit from just hearing some other thoughts around it. If this is something that you feel like you really need prayer around right now and you're struggling with like the actual relationship that you have with your phone, drop it down below. I'd love to be praying for you guys as I kind of navigate it. But that is what is going through my head right now. It's what I'm praying about right now. I think that honestly a lot of us do just need to wake up a little bit. Hello, good morning.
Hi, stranger.
Good to see you. Been a while.
It has been a while.
So we're on number 3 postpartum, with number 3 for 11 months now. A couple of months I haven't had that pain, and I haven't had a lot of the signs of ovulation, so I was wondering if I even had like an anovulatory cycle. Okay, so I just finished up an appointment with my naturopath. I have been working with her for years now, literally ever since before I started having babies, and then I worked with her postpartum with Jude. I shared a little bit about my experience with that on here as well, and I wanted to follow up with her today because there was just a number of different things going on that I wanted to get her opinion on. One of the biggest things being the just chronic eczema that I have dealt with. I started getting it when I was postpartum with Jude, and it has just not gone away and has actually spread since then too. So there's a couple of things that she was saying are potential contributions towards that. It's not like to say that these are the only things that it could be. There could be some environmental stuff as well. Like we are on well water here, so the water is a lot harder. There's a higher iron content in it. But she was saying some of the biggest things are gut health, and because I do have other known food sensitivities like dairy and things like that, that because I have had dairy in my diet a little bit more recently, that could be contributing to it, and to just get rid of the inflammation, we talked about potentially removing that for a little bit. Stress is also a huge one that I just come back to all the time. We are going to do a blood work and like hormone panel to get a sense of like where cortisol levels are sitting at postpartum, just because I remember last time when I was postpartum with Jude and we went and did that test, my adrenals were just shot. Like I was very stressed out and my body has just not really recovered physically from having the baby so close together. So we're going to take a look at that. And we also just talked about different ways to manage stress in my life, like delegating more, taking time in the evenings to wind down, and all of that. The final thing that we talked about when it came to eczema was hydration, and just the fact that I am so severely dehydrated, which I know I need to get better at drinking water. It's something that I'm always like wanting to do better in, but not actually committing to doing better in. So after this call, I'm gonna go and fill this up and try and just get some more water in me. And so we're just gonna take a look at all of it and see how we can better optimize my hormones moving forward, because I do want to, in this postpartum period, take a little bit more time to just get better across the board in a number of different areas. Like physically, I wanna be training and getting better. Hormonally, I wanna be getting better and kind of figuring out how to do that. And so I feel like I'm just on my journey right now of trying to optimize my health. Yes, I still want to get pregnant again into the future, but for right now, I want to take the time to make sure that I am as healthy as I possibly can be. So I will keep you guys posted on that journey. I am going to wrap this vlog up here, and I feel like this is a perfect time for me to remind you guys about my partnership with Needed, because they really do have, honestly, so many supplements that help to support some of the things that I just listed. So if you are dealing with stress, if you are pregnant and looking for some supports for your hormones, or a prenatal or anything like that, they do have so many things available and optimized for women's health. So you can head down to the link in my description box to access my link for it there. All you have to do is use the code BethGrace to save 20% off of your order from Needed. And again, that will work on first-time purchases. So thank you so much to Needed for working with me on this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. As always, I love you and I am praying for you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.